Training for the movie has changed my life. If you want more of these train-like videos, and comment Rambo down below if you want me to do one on Sylvester Stallone's training for Rambo. So back in the 80s, Sylvester Stallone was in trouble. He had the concept for Rocky IV, Rocky versus the Russians, but what he didn't have was someone to play the Russian fighter. He needed a man who was impressive enough to match and exceed the impact of Rocky's past opponents. Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed, wrestler Hulk Hogan, and the formidable Mr. T. So Sylvester launched an international talent search to find his guy. So this is where Dolph Lundgren comes in. A former chemical engineer, kickboxing champion, and actor. Dolph was in New York at the time and heard Stallone was casting for Rocky IV. He auditioned, but was immediately turned down. At almost 6'6", he was told he was too tall for the role. 6'5", and being a lifelong athlete, Dolph's metabolism was burning red hot. So he increased his protein and calorie intake big time and cut way back on all his cardiovascular activity to make sure all his precious calories went to people cannot put on 20 or 30 pounds in so short a time. But Dolph was already in super shape, and he had been keeping his weight down for years by excessive amounts of endurance exercises. When he eliminated this high volume exercise, stimulated his muscles with bodybuilding training, and increased his food intake, his body seemed to blow up right before his eyes. I gained a lot of size fast, he says. I tried to get as defined as possible. I starved myself for about 10 days, ate high protein and low carbs. I didn't really know what I was doing. I never learned how to get muscular with diet and carbs up later. But my metabolism is so fast, I was able to rip up anyways. So essentially what they're saying is that because both the weight training and high calorie diet were such novel stimuluses for Dolph, his body was able to put on muscle at a very rapid rate. This makes a lot of sense, but still putting on 33 pounds in 3 months with minimal fat gain is not really something that's possible, even with ideal genetics, training, and diet. They would train for 2 hours a day at the Santa Monica Bodybuilding Center. Then they would go to a boxing gym Sylvester had built a few miles away in Culver City and work out for 2 hours more. In the beginning of their training, their first priority was building mass. So they trained heavy in the gym, doing a 3-day push-pull leg split. So they would train 3 days on and then take 1 day off before repeating. They would also train abs twice every training day. Dolph even said that sometimes he would get up in the middle of the night just to do a couple sets of abs, just so he would look that much better in the gym the next day. This is just how motivated Dolph was by Sylvester. Pro tip though, if you want to build muscle, the sleep is much more important than a couple extra sets of crunches. So this type of bro split was very popular in the golden age of bodybuilding. Doing a push-pull leg split allows you to spread out your working volume for each muscle group more evenly across the week, leading to more high quality sets, less wasted volume, and better results for natural lifters. So Dolph took to these intense workouts quite quickly, thanks to the high level of conditioning that he had from years of practicing martial arts. But what he wasn't prepared for was the complexity and technical difficulties of hardcore bodybuilding. But while training with Sylvester and under George Papasik, the owner of Santa Monica Bodybuilding Center, he learned all about proper bodybuilding programming, isolation training, mind-muscle connection, and how to overload the muscles with techniques like supersets and forced reps. Aside from their bodybuilding training, the final days before shooting, they were sparring for an excruciating 4 hours a day. That is insane. So when it came time to start shooting the movie, Dolph weighed in at a huge 240 pounds and was looking ripped. He was easily in the best shape of his life. But sometimes you have a scene which includes shots taken weeks or months apart. You can't look one way in one shot and totally different in another one. So to maintain their physiques while shooting the movie, Dolph and Sylvester put a huge emphasis on their nutrition. Sylvester actually arranged to have his own cook on set that would feed both him and Dolph. Because of Dolph's athletic background in martial arts before this, he never had to worry about how he looked, only whether or not he'd be able to flatten his opponent in one-on-one combat. But now he had Sylvester to teach him how to eat to get ripped like a bodybuilder. So Stallone put him on a high protein, low carb, and low fat diet and had Dolph eating 5 to 6 times a day with supplementation. And that's how Dolph got into the best shape of his life playing Ivan Drago. Now it's your turn. Here's a program I designed based off of his training for Rocky IV. Leave any questions you might have down in the comments, and now go watch my video all about how Sylvester Stallone got insanely ripped for Rocky III. I'll see you there.